Well, good morning. Today is Wednesday, the 1st of October, and it is beautiful outside. Today we are in Genesis chapter 24. We're going to look at verses 52 through 67 today. Word of God says, when Abraham's servant heard their words, he bowed himself to the earth before the Lord. And the servant brought out jewelry of silver and of gold and garments and gave them to Rebekah. He also gave to her brother, and to her mother costly ornaments. And he and the men who were with him ate and drank, and they spent the night there. When they arose in the morning, he said, "Send me away to my master." Her brother and her mother said, "Let the young woman remain with us a while, at least 10 days. After that she may go." But he said to them, "Do not delay me, since the Lord has prospered my way. Send me away that I may go to my master." They said, "Let us call the young woman and ask her." And they called Rebekah and said to her, "Will you go with this man?" She said, "I will go." So they sent away Rebekah, their sister, and her nurse, and Abraham's servant and his men. And they blessed Rebekah and said to her, "Our sister, may you become thousands of 10,000s, and may your offspring possess the gate of those who hate him." When Rebekah and her young woman arose and rode on the camels and followed the men, thus the servant took Rebekah and went his way. Now Isaac had returned from Beer-lahai-roi, there's a tongue tangler, and was dwelling in the Negeb. And Isaac went out to meditate in the field toward evening. And he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, there were camels coming. And Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she dismounted from the camel and said to the servant, "Who is that man walking in the field to meet us?" The servant said, "It is my master." So she took her veil and covered herself. And the servant told Isaac all the things that he had done. Then Isaac brought her into the tent of Sarah, his mother, and took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. So Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. I don't remember who it was that I heard that said this. And I remember when I first heard it, I thought, well, that's an odd statement. Man said one time, I heard someone teaching, and he said, you don't have to marry the one that you love, but you do have to love the one that you marry. But think about that for a moment. We have a concept in our mind that love is some kind of emotional, butterflies in the stomach, stars in the eyes. It's some kind of a feeling that comes over us. And there isn't an emotional aspect to love, absolutely. But real love, the kind of love that lasts, has to be much more than that. And so the point he was trying to make is that you don't have to be in love with the one that you marry, in the sense that the kind of unconditional love and commitment that is required of a husband and wife it's not a feeling. It's not something that comes over you. It's a decision you make. And his point was, once he explained that, it made a lot more sense. That, okay, so if I commit to marry you, if I marry somebody, I'm making a commitment. Think of your wedding vows, right? We make a vow, we make a commitment. In sickness and in health, in richer for poorer, forsaking all others till death do us part. Those are typical vows that we make when we tie the knot, so to speak. And you don't have to have an emotional infatuation to make those commitments. That's what the man was trying to say. Interesting, as we read this passage, we again hear the servant of the Lord giving honor to the Lord for guiding his steps to this woman, Rebecca. And then we see Laban, her brother, and her mother. Oh, don't leave so quickly. Stay at least 10 days. Oh, it's hard to let go. You can give lip service to, well, yeah, I want to follow the Lord. I'm willing to, I believe this is God's will, and who might have hindered that? But can't we just wait? The flesh is never wanting to line up with the will of God. We have a difficult time waiting on the Lord. I just wonder, during the 120 years that Noah was building the ark, after God had told him to build it, and after God had told him, I'm going to flood the earth, how many days did Noah get up to go to work on that ark? Did he question God and say, Lord, why do I have to build such a big boat? I mean, the flesh does not want to comply. And so here's Laban, Rebecca's brother, and her mother. They recognize the will of God. They recognize that God is directed in this way for Rebecca to be the wife of Abraham's son. But they're still holding on instead of letting God's will be done. It's a difficult thing to wait on the Lord, to walk in obedience to the Lord. And here we see that when they gave Rebecca the choice, she said, I will go with him. That's encouraging. It could not have been easy. She didn't know who she was marrying. She'd never seen him. What's behind door number 1? I mean, he could have been short and fat and, she had no idea. But she knew it was God's will. And we noticed that Isaac saw them coming. He leaves his work in the field and goes to the caravan. Rebecca gets off the camel. She covers her face. He takes her home, and the word of God says he loved her, and she comforted him after the death of his mother. It says he loved her. How long did he know her? Did they court? Did they date? Nope. He made a commitment to love her. Now, how does this all apply to us? Well, I'm not saying we should arrange marriages and do that. That's not what I'm saying. But I do think we need to think about our definition of love. I think we need to understand that, especially marital love, it has to be more than just emotional attachment. It has to be more than just physical attraction. Those things don't last. They don't last. You know, beauty fades. I have what they call Dunlap disease. My belly's Dunlapped over my belt. It used to be that way. As we age, we age. We just, wrinkles set in. I've got an appointment this afternoon to get a precancerous thing removed. And the way it's explained to me, this is the result of a sunburn I probably got as a child or a teenager. Skin damage, and after all these years, this is the second time I've had a chunk cut out of me. It's point being, charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that fears the Lord shall be praised. It boils down to the inner person, the inner beauty. Those are the things that become more beautiful with age. And that's what's most important, is the inner person. I mean, there's only so much lipstick you can put on a pig. And even if you put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. Point being, the character of the person is what's most important. And yet, how many people get married every year? Oh, I'm in love. We love each other so much. That fades quickly. We see a valuable lesson here in this relationship with Rebecca. We see that she was preordained by God. Don't ask me how all that works. I don't have a clue. But I know God is sovereign. I know God is in control. I know God brought my wife and I together. I know that. How? I don't know. But I believe it. And it boils right down to it. We just have to obey the Lord. The Bible says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. That doesn't mean that it has to be emotional, that it's just outward. It means it's a commitment from the heart to be devoted, to want the best for somebody. As we read this story, it's a beautiful story. But the practical lesson is for us is that We have to trust the Lord and love the one that God has given us. Period. That's all I have for today. Hope you have a blessed day. We'll see you again tomorrow.